So yesterday we put up a video about 10 things that the community does not like about the Modern Warfare 2 beta, but I don't want you to think that everything is all bad, because there's a lot of good when it comes to Modern Warfare 2 as well. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Chaos here, and I know there's been a lot of negative feedback floating around, and footstep audio, dead silence, time to kill, you guys know. But what about the other side of the coin? What things is Modern Warfare 2 doing really, really well? Today, we're going to go over the best things about the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer beta. Chime in the comment section, and these are the things that give me hope for a full release of a game that hopefully you guys and everybody else can enjoy. Drop a like, make sure you're subscribed. Go ahead and rate the Modern Warfare 2 beta out of 10 if you would. And let's start off with the FOV on console. Infinity Ward has finally added a field of view slider to consoles. If you don't know what that is, well, it's a setting. A setting that PC players have enjoyed for decades now, but console players have almost been completely restricted from until very recently due to hardware limitations. Black Ops Cold War was the very first Call of Duty game to feature FOV settings on consoles, and while it returned in Vanguard, Infinity Ward is never able to add it in Modern Warfare or Warzone. However, Modern Warfare 2 features full FOV settings on the consoles, which is going to go a long way with increasing the skill ceiling, and it's going to keep players of all skill levels engaged with the game. A higher FOV makes the game much more competitive. It allows you to be far more aware of your surroundings, and that makes the game much more interesting. So hopefully, these settings are here to stay in console shooters, because there's no reason for a quality of life feature like this to be limited to one platform. Less doors. Yeah. One of the most criticized aspects of the other Modern Warfare was the sheer amount of doors. The door spam hurt the flow of the game. I mean, it really did. It was hard to take enemies by surprise if they were sitting inside buildings. While the doors are still present in Modern Warfare 2, they're not nearly as abundant or annoying. I honestly think having doors in a Modern Warfare game is it's okay idea, because it makes the maps feel more realistic and alive, but I absolutely agree with the community's complaints regarding how many there were. Modern Warfare 2's maps seem to be less reliant on realism, and that means the doors are much less intrusive to the gameplay, which is good. And while we're on the subject of maps, the maps in general are good. Infinity Ward has flat out said they were designed closer to the philosophy of the Modern Warfare 2019's DLC instead of its launch maps. It's clear. A number of COD players have compared the Modern Warfare 2 maps to that of the original Black Ops, which that's a good comparison. They're not super straightforward 3-lane maps, but they're also not nearly as complicated as Modern Warfare 2019's launch selection. What we've got in the beta was a nice middle ground between classic and new school. They varied enough that you can use tons of different routes to get from place to place, but they're not so straightforward that people are always fighting in the same spots over and over. Now, it remains to be seen what the remainder of the launch maps will be like, but I honestly think the beta map selection was really good. I think the absolute worst map in the beta was a solid B or B-, which that's saying something. Next up is the Dolphin Dive. Now, Treyarch introduced this to us in Black Ops 2. It's a fan favorite. Every new Call of Duty seems to pick between a Dolphin Dive or a slide, and while the last few COD games have been sliding, IW decided to meet us halfway. They gave us both. Now, Dolphin Diving is one of the coolest movement options in any first-person shooter, and there's some really cheesy things you can do with it. You can dive through windows, dive off rooftops, you can dive on top of enemies, you can dive around corners. The list goes on. Now, there's been some criticism regarding just how viable the Dolphin Dive is at higher level play, but I think it's awesome to have it back. I'm sure the community feedback is taken into account for future builds of the game, right? This fan-favorite movement option will get more and more helpful during combat. At number 6. The visuals. No-brainer. The graphics in Modern Warfare 2 are amazing. While some people have said they're not much better than the last Infinity Ward game, you have to remember the Modern Warfare 2019 game the bar was high. Modern Warfare 2 looks excellent, especially when you're playing on next-gen console or gaming PCs. Not only are the textures extremely high quality, but the models and animations look incredible. The guns and characters are detailed, they're realistic, the animations have been improved upon the already great 2019 versions. Characters move more naturally than ever, the guns look super realistic when firing and reloading, and the smoke and particle effects, they're immersive. I know graphics don't mean much unless the gameplay is fun, but once again, IW knocked it out of the park in the visual department. If nothing else, Modern Warfare 2 looks amazing in motion. At number 5, 2-year content stream. For the first time ever in COD history, Modern Warfare 2 is going to last 2 years, meaning we're getting a full 2 years worth of post-launch content and focus from IW. Now, some previous COD games like Black Ops 3 and World War 2 have been supported for more than a year, but it hasn't been the expectation. In order to prepare for that, Infinity Ward is making a point to be far more communicative than before. Now, I love the people over at IW, but it's no secret that Modern Warfare 2019 wasn't exactly a great year for developer communication. It wasn't. A lot of criticisms fell on deaf ears. We could go weeks at a time without hearing from people in charge. However, IW's blog and official Twitter account have been extremely vocal about the plans for the game and where it's heading. Now, the game hasn't come out yet. We already know they're working on some main concerns the community has about the beta, and frankly, I think this is the most communicative Infinity Ward has ever been during a beta period. I do. They need to keep people interested in the game for 2 full years. They need to keep a closer eye on what the community wants. And some of those negatives we talked about the other day, they need to change their thinking. They really need to listen. The visibility. One of the first things I noticed about Modern Warfare 2 was how much better the visibility is compared to other games. Not only is it better, but the game is just far more colorful all around. The map makes things more interesting. Infinity Ward has a history of making very gray games, and that has made enemy characters a lot harder to see during fast-paced gameplay, but Modern Warfare 2, it looks like there was an effort to fix it. The colors pop a lot more this time around, and not only is this much more engaging to look at, but it helps you identify players far easier. When you're not squinting at the screen just to see what's going on, it's a lot easier to see somebody moving around in front of you, and that makes the game more interesting to play because you're not getting snuck up on people sitting in corners, at least for that reason. Yes, still a lot of people sitting in corners, but enemy players are much easier to see. Scorestreaks. IW took some heat on their last game. They decided to scrap Scorestreaks and go with Classic. Now, TDM and free-for-all players don't mind that, but objective players, they despised it because it basically killed all incentive to capture flags or take fights you may not win. Modern Warfare 2019 had a perk called Point Man that would convert your kill streaks into point streaks, but this time around, IW decided to fix the problem entirely by just making it into a setting, which is something the community's been asking for a while. If you want to run kill streaks, do it. If you'd rather run score streaks, do it. I mean, you flip a little switch in the settings, you can jump between the two depending on your playstyle or the game mode you're queuing for, which, that's awesome to me. This way, objective players and aggressive players can play together in harmony. At number 2, the servers. COD is known for having a relatively subpar connection in its multiplayer modes. We know that. I'm not saying all the connection in the Modern Warfare 2 beta was perfect, but if you've been playing COD betas for the last few years, you have to agree it's been much better than usual. Some tests by community members have also revealed that Modern Warfare 2's beta was running on noticeably faster servers. The tick rates seem to be clocking in around the high 60s to low 70s. That's a massive jump from the usual Call of Duty setup. Now, I should mention, it's not unprecedented for Call of Duty to actually run betas at faster server speed than the full game release, but the servers have never been this fast in general, so I think that's a good sign. If Modern Warfare 2 launches on the same servers the beta was running on, it's going to be smooth. It's going to be a responsive year for Call of Duty multiplayer. It won't be perfect. Never is. But it's a noticeable jump from the last few years, and that's a positive. And the final good thing today, post-game lobbies. Now, this one's kind of cheating because it's unclear if the game is actually going to launch with this feature, but IW recently tweeted out some promising stuff. One of the loudest criticisms, aside from the minimap and Dead Silence, was the lack of post-game lobbies and lobbies disbanding. Now, when lobbies disband after every single match, it not only means you have to spend a lot of extra time searching for a new match, but it also means you can't make ongoing rivalries with people. You can't vote the next map. It increases your chance of joining a map in progress. It sucks. The Modern Warfare 2 beta once again has disbanding lobbies, but IW tweeted the other day they were looking into ways to fix this and they were fully aware of the community's negative opinions. Now again, it's unknown if they're actually going to follow through with it, but they directly acknowledged it. So we'll see. Kind of puts them on the hot seat. Pretty much common knowledge, the disbanding lobbies problem only came out because of the introduction of SBMM. We know that. But IW really does seem committed to trying to meet the community halfway. We'll see. What do you guys think? What's your favorite thing about the beta? Like I said, rate it out of 1 through 10 in the comment section, and I'll see you soon.